Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be what's on my iPad Pro. I just picked this guy up about a week ago in space gray. This is the 11-inch M1 iPad Pro. I'm really liking the iPad Pro and it's been helping the channel out a lot. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out what's on my iPad Pro, and hopefully this video gives you some ideas on maybe some apps to download for yourself. So the first thing that I want to mention is the wallpaper that I'm currently using for my lock screen. It's the exact same wallpaper that I'm currently using on my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I just like everything to look uniform. I think it looks a lot better, especially when all of your devices are near each other. I'll leave a link down below of the wallpaper if you want to download it for yourself. So the first thing that you'll probably notice on the iPad Pro is the dock here. So these are the apps that I use the most, and I probably open them up like 5 to 10 times a day. The first one is Messages. The second one is YouTube Studio. That's how I run all of my YouTube channels, check the comments and analytics. Then I've got the YouTube app, which I spend a lot of my time on just watching random videos. I think my watch later list is at like 700 and something videos right now, so I gotta put in some work. A lot of investing, gaming, tech, and fitness videos are recommended for me. Then over here is the score. Now this gives you the scores of all of the latest sports games. This is how I know what's going on in the sporting world. Every single day I'm on here multiple times, going through all of the scores here and occasionally doing some sports betting. I just love this app and it keeps me up to date with all of the latest news in the sporting world. Then the last app on my dock here is the Sportsnet app. Now this is how I watch all of my hockey games, as well as get even more sporting news and scores. This is how I watch the majority of my hockey, basketball, and baseball games, as well as some soccer as well. Alright, so here is the first page to my iPad Pro. So on the left you'll notice some widgets here. So I've got the calendar because I just never know what day it is because of all of the lockdowns and quarantines and all that. Everything just feels like one long day, so it's definitely nice to have the calendar there so I actually know what day I'm currently living. Then I've got the weather there just because I like to go for a lot of walks right now because the gyms are closed, and that's really like the only thing I do to keep myself active. I go with walks. I go for walks with Daisy in the morning, so it's nice to know what the weather's like so I can dress accordingly. Then I've got the podcast widget here. I'm a big podcast guy. I love podcasts. And the ones that are right here is the YouTube Creator Hub. So it's like YouTube tips on how to grow your channel and everything. Then I've got the Think podcast, which is kind of like a more similar thing, but you know, a little bit different at the same time. They're just really, really good podcasts if you guys are interested in growing a YouTube channel and online business. Now onto the actual apps here. So again, we've got the calendar here, so it's Friday, May 28th. Then I've got photos, and then I've got clock. I use this a ton for when I'm cooking. I'm just like, hey, make an alarm for like 15 minutes from now, that kind of thing. But I don't really ever use it on the iPad, like actually open it up or anything. Then I've got Safari, the App Store, and settings, so some pretty basic apps along the top row there. Then we get into some folders. Now I really, really like folders on the iPad because, you know, bigger screen and you can organize things a little bit better. But anyways, the first folder here is my photo folder. So I've got my Lightroom, Photoshop Express, Canva, PixArt, Layout, Mojo, Visco, Camera, Procreate, and Snapseed. So these are all of the apps that I use for editing my photos, whether that's like Instagram or just thumbnails for YouTube. Then the next folder we've got here is Finance. Now I have a ton of different accounts with different banks because I like to do credit card churning, where you basically gather up points from multiple different credit cards without like maxing them out or anything, just, you know, utilizing them at different times. And some of them have different benefits, like for example the Triangle MasterCard there, you get 5 cents back per liter when you use it, versus nothing if you use a different card. So you gotta be wise with it and use the advantages of the cards. Anyways, I've got Capital One, BMO, Borrowell Credit Score, Credit Karma for credit scores as well. Scotiabank, my TD Canada account is like my everyday checking, debit, all that kind of stuff. Then I've got my Triangle MasterCard. TD My Spend is really cool because it shows you different categories of where you might have like a spending increase one month, for example. So it's really good to have all the analytics in front of you. Then I've got Libro, I've got My Bell, which is the cell service that I use for my cell phone. I'm using Bell in Canada. Then I've got the Stocks app here. So I got really, really into stocks last year in 2020, and you can see everything that I'm like currently tracking there, like Nike, Starbucks, AMC, Disney, Apple, of course, and Yeah, so it's really good to just have all the stocks, readily available for you, especially in a finance folder. I find it's pretty easy. Then the next app here is Mocha Investing. Now this one is really, really cool. It's actually a Canadian app, and basically what it does is it rounds up your purchases and then uses that money to invest, which is awesome. So instead of paying like $59.95, you pay $60, and that 5 cents goes towards investments. Now obviously that's a really small amount. It's normally more than that, and it racks up through all of the purchases, so it's not just like one. And I really, really like that, investing the spare change. That's kind of like what their motto is. Then I've got IBD, which is Investors Business Daily. Now this one I don't think I've set up on the iPad Pro just yet, but essentially what it is it gives you a lot of information on investing in stocks. Like as you can see here, whole bunch of information. I normally use this on my phone, but it is a great app nonetheless if you guys are into investing and, stock market and all that. Then I've got Yahoo Finance, which is another stock type app. So a whole bunch of information right there. And, I normally use them all like at the same time roughly, whether that's like my phone and iPad going at the same time. But really, really into stocks as of last year. Then I've got my shopping folder here. So these are like all of the applications that I currently use for purchases. So Kijiji, it's basically like Craigslist, except I think Kijiji is like only in Canada. But it's essentially the same thing. Then we've got AliExpress, Lululemon. I'm a big Lululemon fan. Pretty much like my entire closet is Lululemon. And big fan of the brand. Hopefully get sponsored by them one day or something. But anyways, then I've got eBay. That's where I buy like all of my comic books and CGC comics. I don't know if you guys know what that is or not, but I'm a big nerd, and buying the comics on eBay is pretty much all I use it for. Then I've got Goat, which is a sneaker purchasing app, Groupon. Got Amazon here, where I make all of my purchases, and ever since the whole, world shut down, I've been using Amazon a lot. Like, I get an Amazon package like every other day or something. It's pretty crazy, and they're really good with recommending stuff that I would like. A lot of nerdy stuff, and camera gear, and Apple stuff, and comic books, and all that, so it's really hard not to spend money. But anyways, that's Amazon. Then I've got Reebee, which they basically give you the weekly flyers digitally, and you can actually like click on each individual item, and it'll put it in a shopping list, so you don't need to like write it down or anything. Like for example, let's see here. Let's say I want to buy this, what is this, peach and vanilla ice cream. I click it, and now it's added to my list. So it's really, really cool, and you can add a whole bunch of different items from different stores, which is awesome. Then I've got Wish and Wayfair. Now for music, I've got GarageBand, Amazon Music, Apple Music, which I'm a big Apple Music fan. Like, this is my primary way of listening to music. So yeah, like, I just love Apple Music. Lossless is coming, so it's going to be a good time with Apple Music in the future. I know it. Then I've got Shazam, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know what Shazam is. Like, you hear a song, you like it, you don't know what it is, you click a button and it tells you. So super easy. Then sports. Now, I'm obviously a big sports fan, and this year I'm just going to subscribe to everything so I never miss a game. So I've got the NBA app, I've got NHL, I've got Premier League Fantasy, which I'm a big fantasy guy. Right here, I guess it's probably not going to show me because the season is done, but I did alright with fantasy this year, but I'm a big Premier League fan, and I always do Premier League Fantasy every year, so there's the team that I used for the last game week. Then I've got Vivid Seats here, which is a ticket purchasing app, so I've used this for pretty much every game I've ever been to. Then I've got the Champions League app, TSN, NFL, and ESPN. So there is a lot of sports that are watched on this iPad. Next up is my personal development folder here. So I've got apps like Headspace, Insight Timer, 10%, and Motivation, which this one is probably my favorite. It gives you motivational quotes every day, and you can actually set it so that it gives you those quotes multiple times throughout the day without actually opening up the app, which is great. It's just a great app to have. Every few hours it'll send you a motivational quote, and it's just awesome to see that inspiration. I'm currently trying to build like 9 YouTube channels right now, so having those motivational quotes keep popping up on my devices is definitely something great, and I'm really glad that I have that app. The other ones are more for meditation because I think that's really important as well when you're trying to build a business. Then I've got my stock Apple apps folder here, so things like FaceTime, Contacts, Find My, Shortcuts, and all of the other stock apps that Apple normally likes to put on devices. The one I probably use the most in here is iMovie because it's really easy to edit on an iPad with iMovie. I don't have LumaFusion just yet, but I plan on buying it this year. Let me know if you guys like it down below. Then I've got my gaming folder here, so I've got the Xbox app, Twitch, PlayStation, and PlayStation Remote Play. Now, Remote Play is pretty cool because that means I can play like my console games on my phone or iPad. I'm planning on making a video on it down the line, but it is really cool. Then on Twitch here, I just started streaming a few months ago, so if you guys want to follow the Twitch account, go ahead. It's the exact same name as this channel, Austin Meds. I do a lot of FIFA and Call of Duty and a bunch of other games, and I've found that streaming is really fun, so I'm planning on investing a lot more into streaming down the line. Then I've got my social media folder here. Now this one has all of the social media that I currently use, so things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Twitter, Messenger, Pinterest, IGTV, and Reddit. Honestly, I can probably delete IGTV because I just never use it. Then I've got my business folder here, so this is part of my morning routine. I always open up this folder and basically go through all of those. So I've got AdSense, Google Chrome, Shopify, Squarespace, Gmail, TD Stocks. That's what I currently use for investing. Then I have some links, which this one is for Amazon Associates, so that's for all of my affiliate marketing. Then YouTube Analytics, my Vision Board, Genius Link, and Social Blade. Now onto my games folder here. Now I don't really play a lot of games, but if I ever do, it's one of these. So you can see I've got Oceanhorn 2 here, which is an Apple Arcade game. Then I've got Call of Duty, I've got Stick War Legacy, Golf Blitz, Clash of Clans, Knock-'em-All, Clash Royale, Marvel Contest of Champions, which I've been playing a lot more, Mario Kart, WGT Golf, Balloons Tower Defense Battles, and then I just have my FIFA 21 app there, which should probably go in the gaming folder, but it's there right now. Then I've got my entertainment folder here. Now these are all of the apps that I use for streaming. So I've got Crave, then Disney Plus, Netflix, Funimation, Global TV, Prime Video, DAZN, Apple TV, and CTV. Off the top of my head, some series that you should definitely check out is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus and Bad Batch. On Funimation, that's for anime. I definitely recommend stuff like My Hero Academia. And for Prime Video, you should definitely be watching Invincible. Invincible was just so good, and I had no prior knowledge on this character before I started watching the show, and it's one of my favorite cartoon shows I've ever watched. That's how good it was, so definitely check it out. Then I've got the Home app here, so this is how I control like all of my smart lights and other Apple devices. Then I've got the Numbers folder here, which is where I track like all of my brand growth, investing, and all that kind of stuff. Then I have the Pages app, which is where I do all of my scripting for my videos. Then I have the Notes app here, and then Reminders. Now I've been using Reminders a lot more. It's essentially a to-do list that I use every day, so whether that's like YouTube stuff or just everyday stuff, I try to put it in my to-do list just so I can be a little bit more organized. Then on the final page here, I've got Apple Fitness, so I've been tracking my fitness a lot more this year, and Apple Fitness Plus is actually really good, and I definitely recommend to give it a try if you haven't already. The workouts are really good, the instructors are really cool, and all of the data is right in front of you during the workouts because of the Apple Watch. And I've been trying to do a lot more yoga this year, so having the Apple Fitness Plus app has allowed me to do that. Then I have the Tesla app here. Now I don't currently have a Tesla, but I plan on getting one in the future. I basically have the app there as motivation because if you keep looking at it, you're more likely to accomplish that goal. But I really do want a Tesla, and I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, so I just can't wait for the day that I eventually get to the point where I can get one. Then I have the Cineplex app, which is how I get all of my movie tickets. Now right now the movie theater isn't open, so I'm not really buying any movie tickets, of course, but when things do return back to normal, I'll be using that app a lot in order to buy my movie tickets, especially because there is a lot of Marvel movies coming to theaters pretty soon, so I'm really excited for those. And I'm really hoping that the movie theater is open during the time that those are released. Then I have my food app here, so this has my DoorDash app, Skip the Dishes, McDonald's, Starbucks, Tim Hortons, Yelp food reviews, and Uber Eats. I normally use Skip the Dishes the most just because the deals are typically better, and right now in Ontario you actually can't go in a restaurant, so I've been using these meal delivery services a lot more. Then I have my travel folder, which I haven't really touched in about 2 years now, but anyways, I've got Swoop, Expedia, Airbnb, Via Rail, and the Maps app. Hopefully I can use it a lot more in 2021, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, you know, fingers crossed. Then I have this folder here, which is kind of a nerdy folder, so I've got the Funko app, which I used to be a huge Funko Pop collector, so I have like my whole collection documented on this app. Then I have the Fandom app, which basically is just an app where fans can go on it and just talk about trending topics surrounding things like movies, video games, and comics. Then I have my fitness folder here, so I've got my Fitness Pal to track my food. Then I've got the F45 training app. I've got this Complete Anatomy app, which is actually really cool. When I was in university, I was taking kinesiology, so the body is just a really fascinating thing, and sometimes in my free time, I'll open up this app and just continue to learn about the body. And the final thing here is a link to the Fit for Less website. That's how I schedule my workouts. Unfortunately, the gym is closed right now, so I haven't even went on the website in a long time. Gyms in Ontario are scheduled to open in mid-August, which I'm really hoping they open a lot earlier than that. But whenever they do, I always use this in order to schedule my workouts. Then I have my smart home folder here, so the first app is the Nano Leaf Light app. Then I've got Google Home, iRobot for my Roomba, the Phillips Hue app, and then the Amazon Alexa app. And then the final folder that I have here is my books app. So I've got the Bible, I have Audible, I have the Apple Books, and then DC Comics, Comixology, and Marvel. Like I said, I'm a huge superhero fan, so sometimes I try to read some comics digitally as well as the ones that I pick up physically from the comic book store. And Marvel has a digital download code in their issues too, so if I open up here, you can see I was currently reading a Spider-Man comic. And it's just really cool to be able to read it on an iPad Pro because it's really like the same size as a comic book. It's just digital, which is really cool, and you can zoom in on the comics and everything, and the quality of the images is really good. But yeah, that's all of the apps that are currently on my iPad Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found some apps to download for your own devices. I love making these videos every year, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then make sure you like and subscribe because there is a ton of content planned for June, so you don't want to miss any of that because I'm literally going to be filming like crazy, and there's some pretty interesting stuff coming, so stay tuned. But for now, that's the end of the video. Thank you again for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, time to edit.
Go.